Okay, so what I'm about to show you is how to use a simple luminosity mask in a curves adjustment layer so that we can either brighten or darken either the shadows or the highlights in an image without affecting the other. So brighten the shadows without affecting the highlights and darken the highlights without affecting the shadows and making those two dark. So this is probably the simplest kind of luminosity mask we can create, but it's really powerful. So yeah, I'll just run through and show you the steps. So the first thing we need to do, so I've just got this image open, it's just on a background layer at the moment, nothing fancy going on there. So in the panel over here on the right hand side, we need to select the channels panel. And then what we need to do is on a Mac, hold down Command on the keyboard, or on a PC, that's Control. And with that held down, click once on the RGB channel. And then we should see once that's loaded, we should see some marching ants appear on the image here. So we know that's working. And once you've done that, come back over into the layers panel. And then down the bottom here, we're going to create a new curves adjustment layer. And because we've done that with that luminosity selection from the RGB channel active, that's loaded that selection into the layer mask of this curves channel automatically. And so just looking at the histogram in the curves adjustment here that this has created, we can see the histogram is all kind of bunched up towards the right hand side. So what that means is that anything we do with this curve is going to only affect that right hand half of the exposure of the image. So for example here, if we want to darken this, we can just grab the curve and pull it down. And as I do that, we can see the brighter parts of the image here are getting dark, but it's not darkening these already dark rocks around the edge. So that's pretty cool. So if I just disable that layer mask now by holding Shift on the keyboard and clicking on the layer mask, we can see the effect of this curve layer without having that mask active. So, you know, obviously the highlights have gone darker, but so is everything else. So just reactivate that layer mask there. And so yeah, I mean, we can do that. You can use that to darken the highlights, or you can brighten them if you want. And even if you wanted to create some contrast just in the highlights, you can add a bit of an S-curve in there. You know, anything that you can usually do with a curves adjustment layer, with having this luminosity selection loaded into the layer mask, allows us to do that. In this case, only in the highlights. And so that covers the highlights. Now, what do we need to do to make this have the opposite effect and only affect the shadows? Well, it's quite a simple step. All you need to do is click on the layer mask there once. So that's got the box around it to show that it's active. And then on the Mac, hold and press Command I on the keyboard, or on the PC, it's Control I. And that just inverts the layer mask. And so if we come back and start making some adjustments here, we can see that's going to start affecting just the shadows. And yeah, so just like before, this representation of the histogram in the curves adjustment here has that's switched over, and everything, well, pretty much everything, not quite everything, but that's mostly just everything towards the left hand side of the middle there, which means this curve is only affecting the shadows. And like before, you can do whatever you want with that curve to either darken, brighten, add contrast. You can even do a bit of color correction just in the shadows or highlights, for example. Okay, so I hope you found this quick tutorial helpful. If you did and you'd like to learn more, then click the download button on the screen now, and I'll send you a free copy of my downloadable PDF guide, An Introduction to Luminosity Masking. Once again, just click that link on the video window now, and I'll send it straight over to your inbox.